This is Actar's Reviews, from anime to figures and beyond.
Hey, this is Actar and you're watching another episode of Actar's Figure Reviews. Now, I don't usually collect Nendoroids, let alone review them, but I'm going to make a special exception in this case. Yeah, I know that this is a review that many of you weren't expecting, but since my posts on this figure have been blowing up on social media, I thought, what the hell? After all, I was the one who single-handedly blew this figure's secret wide open, but we'll be getting to that in just a bit. I enjoyed the regular game of Among Us with my friends back in the day, and I do love to watch the occasional Among Us Let's Plays from time to time, but I'm in no way a super fan. One of the reasons I decided to get the Nendoroid figure of the red crewmate is because this guy has become a pop culture icon that has infiltrated the consciousness of a generation. The design's iconic, the game's fun, and the figure will definitely look good on the shelf. Now that the figure is released, as you can see, it's a surprisingly decent size, and the build quality is great. It's suspiciously hollow though. However, when the figure was first announced, I can't overstate how much people were underwhelmed. Not only was the game not as popular as it once was, the figure was shown to be relatively simple and come with few accessories. Other than the main figure itself, we have a hand that can be used for pointing and shushing poses, an extra bone piece to make the crewmate look like it's been killed, a stand for both the figure and hand to make it look like it's floating, and a sticker sheet with red glints to make your figure into an imposter. Personally speaking, I don't think that the lack of accessories is necessarily a bad thing in this one particular instance, as it allows the figure to remain smooth all around. Many other crewmate figures are simply riddled with holes. Of course, they could have included magnets inside the figure, but it would have also bumped up the cost, and it wouldn't have really worked for the floating hands. Though, to be honest, I would have definitely liked to have seen at least some heads or more hands included. Speaking of the hands, there really isn't any articulation on the figure itself to speak of, and the only kinds of poses you can get is by manipulating the included hand on this stand. Of course, you do have this seam all along the figure. Nope, that's not for waist articulation, but for the signature dying action that the crewmates are so famous for. Split the figure in half, take the bone and plug it into the bottom half, and there you go. Now, I was rather disappointed that GSC didn't have the bone go into the top half of the figure, especially considering the fact that the top half is hollow. To me, that would have been a no-brainer. It would have increased the figure's play value, and it would have meant one less accessory to keep track of and to store to the side. However, there is actually a really good reason why GSC didn't do that. For you see, this figure is actually hiding a really huge secret. Yup, the figure is compatible with Nendoroid faceplates and is ostensibly a Nendoroid face case. For some bizarre reason, this feature is not advertised anywhere, not on the official product page, not on store listings, not even on the box itself. The only hint at this feature is in the instructions, where it says that you can remove the visor and split open the top half. When I did so to try to find a way to fit the bone piece, I noticed these brackets and these supports that seemingly had no purpose. Now, perhaps GSC was under some kind of agreement with Innersloth to only market this figure as an Among Us crewmate figure, but this feature is, in my opinion, the main selling point of this figure and why most Nendoroid collectors will want to pick this figure up. The fact that this feature has gone completely unadvertised and undocumented is beyond a shame. Though it's strangely on brand and thematically appropriate, I have to admit. Forget accessories and articulation, having the ability to not only give the crewmates a myriad of expressions, but to also turn your favorite characters into crewmates is more than worth the price of admission. The possibilities for memes and funny displays are simply endless. And if that wasn't enough, there's actually more than enough space to store both the bone and the visor inside, in addition to a faceplate. In conclusion, now that more people know that this figure is compatible with Nendoroid faceplates, I can definitely see it blowing up in popularity, even among collectors who aren't necessarily Among Us fans. For those who are a fan of the game, however, you're also getting an excellent rendition of the crewmate for both play and display, albeit with relatively few accessories. Currently, they come in red, cyan, and black. Here's hoping they release more colors in the future, and perhaps some imposters too. So, this is Actar saying, see you guys in the next episode.